find that investor that likes that concept. There's obviously a lot of benefits of leverage in real estate, but right now it seems like, hey, you can be aggressive, you can get a really good basis. And so I put a deal, 20 unit in Georgetown, Texas, under contract yesterday. And I want to go buy it cash and cash flow every month, put debt on it later. And so I want to do that for 4 or 5 deals this year is my goal. And I'm seeing a lack of competition and kind of a gap in the market in these 1980s, 20, 30, 40, 50 unit deals. And there's an opportunity to acquire them as low as I think they're going to get.
Are you investing blind? Most passive investors don't know what questions to ask, and it costs them dearly. That's why I put together 125 essential questions. The ultimate due diligence checklist for apartments, syndications, and funds. Cover every critical area. The operator's track record, the loan structure and refinancing risk, property condition and capital needs, market demographics and competition. Ask things like, how many assets have gone through a full cycle? What is the loan-to-value ratio? What is the break-even occupancy? This is the checklist sophisticated investors use, and now it's yours free. Get instant access at investwithscottkid.com interactive. Trackable, exportable to PDF. Protect your capital. Invest with confidence.
Which here is around $100K a door. These guys that I'm buying it from paid $160 a door 5 years ago, and I think it will get back to that.
Welcome to the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Kidd, where every week we dive deep into conversations with real estate pros, business owners, and maritime professionals about their mindset and journey to success. Please help support us on our journey and our channel by liking, subscribing, and commenting below so we can help you in your journey to success. How you doing today? Scott Kidd, the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. I have a friend of mine here, Matt Tiefka, on, am I saying that right? I know I always screw up your name, Tefke.
It's a tricky one, man. This type.
Tiefka, okay, cool. So on here talking today, met him quite a while back. Been on many of his calls. He's got a lot of great energy on his calls. If you are interested in any kind of real estate, I highly recommend you jumping on his calls. It's open. It's fun. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm good, man. It's good to be with you. I'm feeling motivated, and let's get it.
All right.
You can.
All righty. Well, for people that don't know you, and just tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little background on yourself.
Yeah, Austin, Texas. Father, married, Christian. Been in real estate since I was 18. I'm 35, and just evolving and trying to get better every day, man. But started as an agent in college, selling houses and doing leases. And over time, I got into commercial real estate and was buying houses. And then I started buying apartments and commercial properties. And just been a student of the game. Try to keep things in perspective the best I can of doing good work and driven with, finding good partners and growing myself personally, spiritually, all the things, and just trying to grow, man, trying to buy more deals, trying to pass them on to my kids, trying to pass on knowledge and wisdom where I have it, and also take notes where I can and have fun doing it.
That's excellent. And it's really great that, because it's always a learning game with everything we're doing. And it doesn't stay the same once you think you've learned it all, that's when you get bit, for sure.
Right.
I'm going to ask you a loaded question. How is the Austin market? I mean, we were just talking about it briefly.
Yeah. I personally think it's one of the best markets in the country. I want to say world, but I'm not worldly enough. But we got big companies and jobs, and the vibe here has always been cool, and that's not going away. It got into kind of a bubble, I would say, if you want to call it that, where things are just out of control. Houses are selling in couple hours, sight unseen, and it came back from that. But the fundamentals are strong. People love it here. It's definitely going to continue to grow. There was a traffic problem, just like every big city, but they're making the highways wider, and you hear announcements every day of corporations coming here, and it's got no limit to growth as far as the landscape. Like, it can just grow on all sides, and eventually you can see San Antonio connect into Austin, Austin connect into Dallas, and I don't see that changing. So with the long-term perspective, there's growth on the horizon. On the short term, there's actually a lot of declining rents because there was just so much building. And now that building's been halted for a year plus. So that will change, the ebb and flow. So long term, it's great. Short term, there's some challenges, but just like anything with real estate, if you're thinking long term, you're going to be all right here because it's going to continue to grow and rents will go up, and it's just a great place to invest, and it's fun to be here. There's a lot of cool people, a lot of entrepreneurial people that are growing in the spirit of building and growing and having the sense of freedom in Austin. You're in Texas, but you're in Austin, so it's just this cool
Yeah.
place. As you know, going to UT.
Yeah. Well, I know going there. I love going to school there, and the experience is it's not really just unique to Texas. It's kind of unique to the United States and unique to a lot of places in the world just because it's very open. Music's great, the culture's great. I remember going to school, like, I didn't really need my car because there were so many bike trails everywhere. And
Right.
and you could put your bike on the bus. The buses were free if you were a student. I think they're still doing that, which I thought was great. And that went from middle school all the way up through everything. So that's what attracts and brings that growth and that open-minded, because a lot of entrepreneurs are very creative and very open-minded because a lot of times you have to be open-minded to find those solutions, especially in real estate. Is there any particular deals that you guys are working on these days that where you're seeing some opportunity?
Yeah, man, I'm kind of I think a little unconventional, nothing super creative, but trying to buy some deals, smaller deals, all cash. Find that investor that likes that concept. There's obviously a lot of benefits of leverage in real estate, but right now it seems like, hey, you can be aggressive, you can get a really good basis. And so I put a deal, 20 unit in Georgetown, Texas, under contract yesterday. And I want to go buy it cash and cash flow every month, put debt on it later. And so I want to do that for 4 or 5 deals this year is my goal. And I'm seeing a lack of competition and kind of a gap in the market in these 1980s, 20, 30, 40, 50 unit deals. And there's an opportunity to acquire them as low as I think they're going to get, which here is around 100K a door. These guys that I'm buying it from paid 160 a door 5 years ago, and I think it will get back to that point. But lower returns on the immediate, but just a safe, stable concept that we can play off of, and then acquire more that way is what I'm trying to do this year.
Well, that's a great thesis, and that's a great tip. Especially if you can buy something cash right now, and even though the interest rates are at the historical average, it's a lot higher than it was 5-10 years ago, where it was quite a bit lower, which was unprecedented. But if you can buy it cash now and it's cash flowing, when the debt becomes more stable, you could potentially put a nice a nice debt and nice leverage on it and go and buy more, especially when in that environment, say you have 5 or 10 properties that have no leverage on, no debt on them, they're cash flowing. That builds a nice balance sheet where you can leverage that for a lot of things. And there is definitely in that market there where they don't necessarily need a manager. They're probably mom and pop managed. You can probably get some seller financing deals on those as well. I would think that there's a huge gap, and that's all over the states. That's not just in Austin, Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my wife manages these, which is great. That's a niche. And I really think, we all invest. We're more interested in a story and the vision than we are about the returns, more than we realize, in my opinion. Like, are we really trying to say this deal is a 10% and this deal is a 7 and this is a 12?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
And so it's like, what's the vision? What's the story? And the vision I have here is like, just give these things to our kids, and not worry about being forced to sell and play the long game, which through my experience, 16 years in the business, going through my first dip or downturn, is like the value of real estate is the long run. I get it. People trade and buy an apartment and sell it a few years later and you make millions. Like, that's great. And, congratulations. But I think the value for me is like cash flow forever.
Mm-hmm.
You sell at the height and you go buy at the dip. That's great. It's really hard to time that, to do it perfectly like that. But once you sell, you're going to go try and buy something
Again.
at a price. And exactly, and it's going to be harder and it's going to be more expensive. So that's my thought process with it, is like, sell that vision. Like, and I do think that a lot of people get it pretty quickly, and that's what I'm trying to get people on board. It's not easy to raise money.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, even 2 million, it's not a lot, but it is. And I'm trying my best to get it together and do it again and continue to do it again. And I just like that better right now than putting $2 million down on a $7 million deal and 5 years having to figure out a new plan.
Yeah, it's unprecedented that, a lot of people got used to that, buying it and then in 2 or 3 years selling it. And that's not really the norm. Before it was 5, 7, 10-year hold, and like the family offices, the minimum they look at holding anything is 10 years. And that's the equity multiple and all that thing that they're looking at. And that's kind of the mentality, like where your head's at, where that's the minimum that we should be looking at, because that's where you really start to see some of the long-term gains, especially in the equity and on the balance sheet, because also then it builds on your track record. If you've been doing it for 10 years and you have that robust of a balance sheet where you have, on average, maybe 50% LTV, that shows that you have the systems in place, you have the experience, you are able to manage these things. And if you tell the banks and everything else that you're buying it to hold it long term, they like that even better, because you're with a commercial loan, you're probably going to be refinancing at that 7-year balloon payment or 10-year balloon payment or what have you. And after 10 years, you should be able to refinance it into some good debt and pull some more of the cash out and keep doing it. I mean, long-term vision is always better, because real estate in general, would you say, is very forgiving over the long term?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Because I know in my experience, like when some things that I thought weren't that great, over time, although we were taking some hits, had we not sold those, we probably would have been in a better standing. But just because we wanted to get rid of the short-term problem, we went for the short-term gain, which long-term it would have been infinitely better. But would have, could have, should have, and it was the right thing for us to do at that time because, like you alluded to, finding good partners. And, they weren't necessarily bad partners, but maybe we weren't in the same alignment, and how do you find people that you're aligned with?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like what you said. Real estate is forgiving over the long run. I'm going to take note of that.
Yeah, you feel free to use that because I love that one. That one's very helpful. Was very helpful to me.
Yeah. Man, it's a challenge. I just think that you can tell who's locked in or not pretty easily, just by the way the language they use, and you can demonstrate whether you know the market, which is important. Um, I, as a Christian, I feel led to. One part of me says only do deals with Christians, because that's in the Bible, and where I come from with that is like, in business, people are so quick to cut people off and write people off. And the way I think of being a Christian is like, I'm unable to do that for me personally. I have to forgive. I also need forgiveness. And that core allows me to come back to something with a brother or a sister in Christ of like, we believe in this. Let's figure out a solution, because people have issues in the partnerships. So that resonates with me deeply.
Yeah.
But I will partner with other people. But really, the biggest thing I've learned is being very clear on your vision. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing I would want to try to uncover is like, how does this person act during stress and when there's challenges? Because that's really the concern.
Oh yeah, because there will be challenges. There will be stress. And one thing that I've learned just through being through a lot of different stressful situations is just the initial communication, how someone acts and reacts with you. Generally, like if they call you back right away, if they, follow up with you and they're engaging with you and they want more than just a transaction. A lot of time there's something there that's more than just the transaction, and I'm not the most religious person, but I've done a lot of deals with people that are very religious because a lot of times there's that discipline there and that faith, and a lot of times that they're going to probably do the right thing over a lot of other people.
I always also keep coming to I say this. Hey, everybody in this room's had a bad partner, right? Raise your hand if you've had a bad partner.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, but none of us have been bad partners. Right? So, yeah, right.
Maybe.
Yeah. So it's like, wait, so where are all the bad partners?
Yeah.
Because we've never been them.
Yeah. That's a good point because I don't see anything as good or bad partnerships. It's just like we're not in alignment. We weren't necessarily on the same page. We probably should have vetted each other a little better. And then maybe we didn't communicate well with each other. And that's where you really want to take the time to find out who you're, if it's a great deal, that's fine. It's a great deal, but that can be
Blueprint. The passive investor due diligence checklist. You found a deal, the returns look great. But before you wire a single dollar, do you know what you're really investing in? Most passive investors skip the hard questions. No PPM review, no sponsor vetting, no exit strategy. They hope for the best. Blueprint fixes that. For pillars of protection, 87 plus vetting questions. A live scoring dashboard that gives you an instant verdict. Invest, caution, or avoid. Work through each tab. Note your red flags. Review your score. Decide with confidence, not gut feeling.
That can be soured by a bad partnership,
100%.
immediately.
Yeah.
And that will sink you faster than anything else. I mean, I strongly employ anybody that is listening that be wary who you get into partnerships with. It's the same thing like, talk first, date second, marriage down the line. So think about it as a long relationship before you jump into a deal, rather than get married in Las Vegas right away. First night we met.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, totally. But also, to your point, be forgiving of
Mhm.
people and, acknowledge where you went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something we were just talking about on a call I just got off of. It was I've learned as I got older I'm less sympathetic of people and what people do, but I'm a lot more empathetic towards people because having gone through a lot of different things in my life that I kind of sometimes if something goes a certain way, I don't really know where that person came from or what that person's been through. So like you said, you do have to forgive them, and you do have to, realize, hey, this person's been through a lot in their life, and they haven't really dealt with it or don't really know how to. So we just have to kind of come to terms and just say, be okay with it, and forgive them. And, you know, another person on the call said forgiving is also a way of letting go, and you're also forgiving yourself.
Totally, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just sad in business how people tend to cut people out so fast.
Yeah, and
I feel,
putting things ahead of people. That's something that I'd like to say that I'll never do or I never have done, but maybe I have in the past or something. But for me doing the deal, it's about the people involved. It's
yeah,
not about the thing, and because I'm not, and you and I know each other well enough. We're not the one and done type people. We're the long term vision of everything. Like where do we go after? It's not just this one. It's the next one and the next one, and
yeah. And none of
how
these,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
No, it's how are we all going to prosper from this? Because this is going to be the foundation. This is where this is leading us to bigger things.
Yeah. And like, as you know, or I think is true, I mean, you know, I've never bought one deal that just retired me.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there is one.
No.
So it's like, even from just a straight business standpoint, is like you have to be able to do more of these things. And even 10 of them is not going to retire you, but enjoy
No.
it, have fun, and
Yeah.
be building something that you're proud of.
Yeah, and we don't go alone in this journey here because in the commercial real estate especially, you need a team. You need people. We all need people. If you think alone, there's a saying, live alone, live by yourself, die by yourself. And I think that that's a life, not lived.
Yeah.
When you're like that, because I've seen many people on the yachts that have more money than all of us combined. That I've ever met in my life, and some of them very happy, good family, good. They've obviously made a lot of good decisions in their life, but quite a few they've filled their lives with all these material things that aren't necessarily what fill you up, and you see it. They're not happy.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, it's hard to hear that about money when you haven't had it, or,
Yeah.
but when you have, then I've had it and lost it,
Yeah.
and it's like that is so true. But
Hmm.
I remember when I never had made any money, I'm like, that's a bunch of BS.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to be there, and I definitely will be happy.
Yeah.
But
Says
true.
says says the people that have money. Money
Right.
doesn't buy happiness. Says the people.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a Bible verse about whoever loves money will never have enough. And
Yeah.
that's true.
Oh, that's 100% true. I mean,
Yeah.
but a life filled with materialism is an unfulfilled life. It really is because I've seen it many times, and I'm there's people that just keep chasing the deal, the next deal, this deal, that deal, and it's never enough. Like you said, it's that verse that I'm
Yeah.
seeing sometimes, and it's unfortunate, but you know, that's unfortunately where we are sometimes. And
Yeah. I mean, and I've been there, man. Like
yeah,
somebody recently, because I just overload myself with busy, busy, go, go, go.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I was like, dude, I think you might be addicted to, I don't know if it was adrenaline or like, so it was kind of like that, like
The chaos, maybe.
kind of, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're right.
Mhm.
It might have been adrenaline, but
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, the chaos, the adrenaline. But when I have learned for me, and I think this is true, whenever you hear truth or you speak truth, it's just truth. Like it's known. And he said
Mm-hmm.
that, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, you're right. And so that's what I'm saying about trying to grow and be better. Like I'm trying to change right now of like not just doing to do and just always filling everything. And like I push myself to the limits. And I think there's good to that in some sense, like when you have a really
Mm-hmm.
clear goal, but not just to do it all the time.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
like I'm literally in this process right now of it. It's like, I mean, I would just talk to hundreds of people every day and try to help and try to be accountable. And like, I can't.
Hmm.
I can't help them. I can't help myself. And they say put your mask on first. Like, I'm not doing that. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll get mine on later. And that's not wise. So,
yeah. You
out
you'll
there.
you'll burnout is where that leads. I I know I can relate to that because I have that tendency of taking on way too much, especially when like I'll usually help somebody else before I help myself,
Yeah.
and that has been best and worst trait. And I can see that you have that as well. And I try to focus more these days on saying no. And I know it kind of hurts me sometimes. It's
Yeah.
counterintuitive. Like, no, I can't really help you right now. But what I generally try to do is hand them over to somebody else. That, hey, call this guy. See what
Yeah,
you can
man.
do. Just because I know that in a way that I'm being able to at least put them on the path and put them with somebody else that I trust that could help them, and that's helped me a lot. And hopefully that helps you too, because it's easy to get that. Because I mean, I when things are going good, and like right now things are going pretty good, and I just the older I get, the more I want to do before this is over. You
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm step on the gas, pull the brakes off, run until the wheels come off. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what that's what I'm looking at. And people ask me when I'm going to slow down. I said probably when I'm done.
Yeah. Hey, I'll read you. I'm gonna try to pull this up. This quote that I posted on my Facebook the other day.
Cool.
Tell me your thoughts on it. I like it. Um, it says, "Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, 'Wow, what a ride!'"
Yeah, I think I've heard something a similar version of that, and I like it because I used to. One of my favorite sayings was it was a old pirate saying. It was if I were to happen upon buried treasure, I would spend the first half on wine, women, and song, and then I'd blow the rest.
Yeah, right.
something,
Yeah,
something to that effect.
that's
But
the yacht. That's the pirate.
yeah, that's the pirate saying. But skidding, I picture when you were saying that saying, I picture sliding and skidding into the grave on fire.
Yeah, man. It's like, I mean, to me, I know some people that live the opposite way, and I'm not here to judge, but it just feels like selfish to just have this luxury, like you said, live alone, die alone.
Hmm.
You just do all the things that you take care of yourself, and you're not. in,
Yeah.
with other people. Like that doesn't sound fun to me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I look at it is I'm taking everybody with me on the journey, whether I want to or not.
There we go. Yeah.
I mean, it's a, it's really all about the journey. I mean, we're not there yet, and we're never going to get there. We're just going to always keep moving on that path, and as long as we're in alignment and we're surrounding ourselves with good people, it doesn't really matter where it takes us, really. But not to me, because if I got good people around me, I'm fine. You know,
Yeah. That's right, man. That's right.
it's really something. But what do you see? What do you see going forward in over the next, say, 5 years in, say, the Texas market in general? Because I'm hearing a lot of stuff about like data centers and tech and stuff. Because one of the things that we follow heavily is the tech sectors and where corporate headquarters move. And Texas.
Still guessing your next move. As an investor, most people have no idea where they actually stand. The Investor Readiness Scorecard changes that. In 5 South, just 10 minutes, score yourself across 5 critical categories: financial foundation, education, strategy, network, and action readiness. Instantly discover your investor phase and get your exact next move. No more guessing. No more spinning your wheels. Take the free assessment now at investwithscottkid.com.
And Texas, we're bullish on Texas in general, especially that I-35 corridor from Austin up to Dallas. Because being a UT graduate, Austin down to San Antonio was wide open farmland when I went there. A lot of it was, and now it's practically filled in. We see the same thing heading north.
Yeah. I mean, man, I don't, hope if I can provide value, I will. I don't think too much about it. It's like, who knows?
Yeah.
Growth and people coming here, data centers are big. It just doesn't seem like I want to make decision. Like it's a benefit, but who knows, man? I mean, Austin could be owned by China one day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't put much thought into it, but it is growing and it seems like it will continue to grow. But I just don't base too many decisions off it because it's just guessing game.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a market that would clearly grow over, the next 30, 50 years of any market in the United States, it would be Austin. Unless it becomes China. So,
yeah, and then it'll probably grow in a different way, I guess. Who knows?
Yeah, good point. It'll still grow.
Still grow. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, we track a lot of those things. It's, like I said, especially data centers, tech stuff, corporate headquarters, just because Texas in general is just coming everywhere. Like Sherman, Texas, you have the chip factory there. I think, what is it? Abilene, they're 100, 200 billion, I don't know, in the hundreds of billions of dollars worth of projects. And, there's so many of those in Texas that are going on. And then you have all the oil and everything there. There's a lot of reasons for people to keep moving to Texas, Austin in general, because it's the, state capital. And, it's also cultural capital as well, so it brings a lot of other things and people there. Are there any particular things that you see in the short term as far as like the Austin market?
I see it recovering, man, pretty quickly. And like my guess is 8 to 12 months, it's a hot place again. But it's always, as you know, I mean, dude, I'm sure I'm a little bit of a homer, but
yeah.
When I get to the airport in Austin, like I'm just like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Even the airport is cooler than any airport I've been to.
Yeah.
It's the vibe, man.
Yeah. good energy.
You know what I
Good
mean?
energy there. Yeah, it's good.
I mean,
Austin has good energy, you know.
you agree with me on that? Have you ever been to a cooler airport? Like,
Um,
there's like live music and, local food, and it's just cool.
I've been one airport that I do have to agree with you that the Austin airport is pretty great. One other airport that I really liked was the Amsterdam airport, just because it had a relaxation room. Like
Okay.
they were
Yeah.
really thinking about the people, like because you had a lot of different things there, and then you could actually go in there. You could actually take a nap or sit or meditate, and it was completely quiet. You didn't hear all the stuff that comes with the airport. But to each his own. But no, the airport in Austin is pretty spectacular, and then you get some good barbecue there.
Hey, man. Yeah. Tacos, barbecue, there's live music.
Yeah, yeah. There's always live music in Austin for sure. And that's, like I said, the cultural, a lot of times, as real estate investors and stuff, we more track like the population, the jobs, this and that. But like the attraction via culture, Austin definitely has that over a lot of places, like people might move to Dallas because of the financial culture, but people
Yeah.
move to Austin for the quality of life and the overall culture.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about, because I alluded to a little bit about your calls that you do. I believe it's every Thursday, right? Every Thursday.
Every Thursday at 1 Central on Zoom. Everybody's welcome. It's like a workspace. We call brokers, we create partnerships, we pray, and pretty unconventional approach. It's always a little unique. Sometimes we'll have speakers, but I invite everybody. All I really need is someone's email address, text it or message it to me, and I can add you to the list and come and, bring stuff to talk about. We get, it ranges, but anywhere from 50 to 80, 90 people every week.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good energy, because he's got a lot of great energy and stuff, and then people,
Thanks, man.
it brings a good vibe, and there's always the underlying message is always everybody helping each other. Because like I was pretty impressed a lot of times where there were a few other people on there making calls and stuff, and you guys were talking through like, "Well, try this." You go on hold, and you guys would go kind of back and forth, and then, all right, let's try another one, and then it kind of got people into like to realize that, especially like junior people that are just getting in, like, hey, you do got to make some calls. You do have to know how to talk to people, and it's okay to put your hand up and go, hey, how do I work? How do I do this one? Because a lot of time us, especially as men, we think we should figure it out all ourselves. And if you just look at any of us, we don't have anything figured out.
No, no, definitely not.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, like little kids, like they probably have the ultimate wisdom because they're not scarred by anything.
Yeah.
And it's like we're just
Sure.
all little kids that grew up and, we're
Yeah.
navigating this crazy world the best way we can.
Yeah. And we put up these boundaries to make it seem like we're better than we are, or we're able to figure out all these things, when actually we're just a culmination of all the interactions that we had and choices that we made anyway. So
Right.
we've taken all this knowledge as a platform from something else to whoever we are. But I did really like that, on the call, that everyone's just kind of talking, and you do have some people on there sometimes, and you kind of overall evaluate, and then everyone gets to talk about it. Anybody can chime in, so it's very open, So I'd strongly recommend anybody that's of any experience level in real estate just to join in and see where they can add value to it, because that's one of the mantras of it, is just adding value to everyone else. I know that's what's helped me uh, just get into some rooms that I didn't even know existed, is just by adding value to other people.
Yeah. Amen, man. Reckless abandon, value add.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really great. And if for people that are that want to know more about you and find out about your calls and everything else, where do they find you?
Easy man, Matt Teifke at Gmail. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Easy to get a hold of. I want to hear from people and connect and just bring value where I can. So if they just connect with me, I'll get them set up on the call if they want. If we want to partner up on some deals, let's figure some stuff out.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, this has been really great. I'm glad you took the time to speak with me today. And if anybody wants to find Matt, we'll put all his contact information in the show notes and everything. And definitely reach out to him, jump on his call.
Amen, brother.
Thanks again
Real
for being
quick, someone texted me while we were on here. I did a TV show with Grant Cardone.
Oh, nice.
It got released like 20 minutes ago on YouTube. So kind of cool.
Nice. Grant Cardone.
Yeah, it's called The Real Estate King, and he came to Austin, and I'm gonna go watch it after this.
Cool, man. Well, I think I am too.
Hey, brother.
All right. Well, thanks again for being here. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I'm always here.
All right, thanks. I'm Scott Kidd, the Captain Investor, and I just want to make a quick reminder that the best investment you can make is the one you make in yourself. So invest heavily in you. See you next time.